let's do this, and let's see some McCree on Gibraltar.
Statistically speaking, I usually get most of my team back alive, but...
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Is your most dependable ally.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Sure. Okay.
Hold up now.
So you did know that that was going to be a thing. Let's make sure I'm set to the appropriate rewind here. I'm not. You know that that's a Winston on you. You still know that that's a Winston on you, and you just dump this flashbang. You just have to appropriately account for, wait, is there a bubble? Has he used the bubble yet? Am I inside or outside of where the bubble would deploy when it comes to flashbangs? Like, it's just what you have to do when doing this. And this is just a miscalculation. Okay.
Excuse me for dropping in.
Hopefully now with the dodge roll being shorter, I would have been inside the bubble.
I'm actually a little surprised that you went for a flash there. So, or not a flash, a fan here. So that's good. This is probably just shoot him range. Like, you look at him and containing your, at this distance, containing your fan on him, even a large target like him, well, you do it. You're kind of working harder than you have to on that one, but hey.
Yeah.
I don't really want to repeat this again. So, like, here they are. That Zen is charging a right click for you. The Hanzo knows that you're here. Not looking at you. Fortunate. Yeah, I just don't really want to challenge those one-shot heroes at this distance.
Yeah, those guys are pretty
off.
scary.
Yeah. Sure. This is probably a backup and crouch scenario. I'm not sure why you're drifting left. Like, you're here and you're sort of going like, I'm going to drift left in the open. I don't need to see what's going on. I want to back up because that's going to close the angle on these guys the fastest if I back up and then crouch. Because I can't shoot while I'm reloading like this. Can be picky here. We want to be picky here. That's our job. Those are bullets that could have been used perfectly happily into this barrier at this Winston. And you knew this Winston was up here. You'd heard him land. You know that your team, you can't help but notice, wait, my team isn't heavily firing at these guys. You know there's something going on over here. You didn't check before you reloaded. You just immediately reloaded. And checking doesn't really take time. So we don't want to do that. Unfortunate, but right idea.
Back into the mix.
Payload has reached the checkpoint.
Oh boy, we have mad spawn. What are you looking for here? What are you?
I just didn't want to get shot by the Hanzo again.
Okay, so you were trying to hide your head hitbox? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that makes sense when you're at 100 health, but okay.
ain't my time.
My ultimate's ready.
Okay, you know where he is. You have a good angle. Unfortunate.
Damn it.
Yikes. Okay, so here you are. You see this. Your team is getting cleared by this. Really, at this point, you have to make a decision. Is your team still in this fight?
No.
Is this really, I mean, this isn't really a fight. Like, it's unfortunate, but this is a snowball. So you have to
Yeah.
decide, okay, what can I do? Can you get out if your team isn't in this fight?
Not really too much. Not really too
Yeah,
fast.
probably not realistically. Can you get to cart? Really? And if you get to cart, are you going to last more than an instant?
No, there's gonna be a hog waiting for me.
Right. So you just need to sort of get yourself reset, and if you can take someone with you, great, right? And you could walk to cart to try to do that, but this was honestly probably you know exactly where the Hanzo is, and you know that the Hanzo is going to be looking this way. So like, okay, you don't know that the Sombra's right here, and might tell the Hanzo that you're coming this way, but this was just an immediate, I'm just immediately going to come here and go challenge this Hanzo, and I'll just try to take him out, and if I take him out, great, then I'll drop to cart and get eliminated, and if I don't take him out, meh, that's fine too. Like that's sort of how you need to be thinking about this. Or maybe I take him out and then decide, hey, can I turn and take out a Zen or whatever the case may be, and now we're gonna stay in the fight because now this lost fight is potentially turnable. But this is sort of slow what you're doing here, where you're like, I'm just poking at the hog, I'm doing this half ammo reload. Now I'm walking up to this Hanzo. It's just kind of slow. Now I'm over here. Cart's moving the whole time at 2 to 3 speed.
Get into position.
However, the plus side to that is you at least will not get the bad spawn.
I've got
I say as you get the bad spawn.
So should I have not got like engaged there? Should I just have like, because I mean there was no, it was like a 5v. I mean there was a Zen. Maybe there was like 2 other teammates with me when he dragoned.
Oh, I wanted you to engage faster. I decided that that was
Faster.
over, and I wanted you to force the engage faster than you did so that you can make this happen, so that you can look for a chance to
Gotcha.
trade out. Because, like, hey, this isn't getting better. This card is moving the whole time. Let me literally just beeline over here and try to eliminate the Hanzo. And I'm not even giving cute
Gotcha.
about it. I'm just going to beeline over and try to do it.
My ultimate's ready.
Why are you in the middle of the lane? So here you're going, I get it. You're trying to get yourself over to here where you're going to play. That's what I'm thinking. And then you decide, no, I want to play in the middle of the lane. Maybe I want to play on the left?
I think I'm transitioning to upstairs on the, well, maybe I'm not. Oh,
Oh,
oh yes I
maybe.
am.
Okay. Why? I mean, you're down to 1 shot, so I don't really care.
Apagando las luces. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine. Apagando las luces. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Yeah, like, I don't see great reasons to be reloading here with 3 shots. Like, okay, maybe you know that this hog is looking up at you for the tire, and that's why you're not willing to challenge this. But, like, 3 shots, you're perfectly happy to go, I'm going to shoot there, I'm going to shoot there. Again, I just point this out because it's not totally gone. Some of these have been pretty reasonable 1-shot reloads that I don't care about, but I want to make sure that you're aware when these are still here.
Yeah.
And when you're forcing reloads like you did there, where it's like, oh, I'm behind cover, it's safe. Well, okay, you are behind cover and it's safe, and that's better than doing it in the open, don't get me wrong, but it's, you know, when you create windows to reload for yourself that aren't actually necessary, and this would be another one of those. So here you are. That Hanzo's busy. Like, that Hanzo is busy. There's a Winston jumping in his face. You can challenge him. He might close the angle on you, so you can't challenge him, but you can challenge this guy right now. You can either fight him from here, you can try and fight him from here. Like, you can challenge this Hanzo and you know it, and instead you're making an excuse for yourself to reload right here.
Thanks. Coming through.
Sure. Sure. I don't love this, and you know I don't love this right here. This happens. You miss your flash. And I would have actually been okay if you'd high nooned earlier, even though there was a lot going on, but this high noon isn't great. Like, yes, you're falling, but you're not falling during the critical moment of high noon. Transitioning between high ground and falling while high nooning is pretty darn good, but you generally want that to be happening when you're actually pulling the trigger. And this is not the part where you can pull the trigger. Like, if you'd high nooned here, when she popped Covalescence and said, yeah, no, that would have potentially been fine. Yes, the Winston would have still probably come up on you, and the Winston then would have knocked you, and then you'd have happily pulled the trigger because you'd have been charging on them for half a second, 3/4 a second, whatever the case may be. But this is sort of late. Like, if you understand what I'm talking about here. If you just want to say no, we're going to make this real. We see your coalescence and we raise you high noon, or vice versa. Fine. You want a high noon right here? I got no issue. And your team is adequately positioned to take advantage of this high noon. They'll be able to do work. I have no issue with your high noon right here. I have a bigger issue with your high noon here, because you know you're going to fall too fast. You're never going to charge this in time to actually take people down before you end up here. And even if you hadn't been hooked, there's much more in terms of cover from here for them to use. The carts, all that. Again, I'm not convinced that you're not going to have a valid target before this reload is over. And if you really feel like you need a target, that hog is up there in the bubble and you can shoot at the bubble. And sure enough, the Zen would have been available. And I don't know what would have been over here. Okay, you couldn't see that, Sombra. Oof. Oof. That just feels bad.
It does. It does.
Just missed a little bit at the beginning, and then he got the fresh bubble. Oh well.
Well,
One shot, one kill.
Good.
how about a little extra?
Walking dog.
Winston just used leave.
How about a little extra?
I'm actually pretty okay with you right here. Your timing for grapple is going to be a little off of Winston's timing, but why do you feel the need to drop here?
I think I was just, if the enemy team was like right under me and I was shooting at them, then it would be inevitable that they would jump me. But I guess if they jump me, then I can just grapple away
Right.
when that happens.
Right, exactly. And your timing is going to be a little off. There, Winston probably has 2 seconds till leap. You have 5 seconds till grapple. So there's a little bit of a mismatch there. But I don't really mind this at all. And I don't think you're going to have some great spot back here. Like, yes, if you could get back here, that'd be fine. But I'd prefer you continue go, nope. make them remove you, make them take the step to remove you, and then go here, and then they had to go through extra steps to try and win. And if they don't, you just, happily go, oh, well, I guess I'll delete Hanzo real quick. Oh, I guess I'll delete so-and-so who's walking through real quick.
Into the
Okay.
iris.
Its destination.
Apagando las luces.
Trying to figure out how much space you have back there. Understandable.
Yeah, I was trying to close some angles, but because like 3 people were looking at me. But
Oh yeah. You just needed to literally it needed to be I'm just gonna take out Hanzo and then I'm gonna continue from there. Like I'm not getting too hard on your target priority, but as soon as you went here,
Pass into the iris.
I can one-shot people. She's the only thing on your screen. Great, try and one-shot her.
Payload is approaching
You see
its
Hanzo?
destination.
It's immediately okay, I'm taking a step and then my next shot just has to be on Hanzo because if I'm gonna stay in this, it's literally gonna be around eliminating 200 squishy at a time. Yep.
Apagando las luces.
Round one.
And as a hit scan player, is
Just
Widow
a
normally like the
second,
person that I should
so-
choose to try and counter a Hanzo if the Hanzo's
never thought
like
I'd
really?
see this
Because usually as McCree, Hanzo's like one of the banes of my existence at mid range.
Yeah, so Widow's fine. Counter might be a strong word for dealing with him, but yes, you're looking at it and sort of going, there's a little more of a totality thing. Like Hanzo is one of the stronger DPS, but so are McCree and Tracer, so it's not like, you're bad in that shape whatsoever in terms of the hit scan hero pool. So when it comes to Hanzo, you either want to go, yes, I can try to beat him with precision with Widowmaker. I can try. He's got some advantages. She has some advantages in that. Or you go, hey, I can try and overwhelm him as I can swap to Tracer and I can team up with my Winston or my Ball or something like that and we can just overrun him. I don't necessarily want to push that fight one-on-one as anybody. I mean, pushing Storm Arrow as anybody in terms of as Tracer, as close range McCree isn't necessarily fun, and fighting him at range, yeah, you can equal or beat his range on Widowmaker, but that's really it. You're not going to want to fight him on Soldier, for example, and McCree, similar issues.
That makes sense.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
But you can also, really make
not
sure
fighting
you're
by your
flipping
side,
to, you're opening on him, you're getting the
always
opening
back
fire on him,
somewhere.
and or you're making sure to pivot over to him or open angles when your Winston jumps on him. Because your Winston will jump on him somewhat repeatedly, or your Diva will, not necessarily to get the elimination, but to pressure them so you have space. And if you help, they might get the elimination. There.
Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei.
A little slow.
¿Qué
Okay.
onda?
I believe. I don't love that roll. So I'm looking at this, and it's not the end of the world. Rolls a relatively short cooldown, but that is your sustain. And you're not gonna get the mega? Do you have a thing against health packs, or you just no? I rub my nose
I
at
was
you.
just-
Okay.
I was just trying to get I didn't know where that Sombra teleported to, and so I thought maybe she was up the stairs or something like that, and so I was just so fixated on it. But I definitely should have grabbed the health pack.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me for dropping.
So that one was probably a real shots thing, just because your angle for the second one wasn't really very good. So this one, you're good at controlling that, but this was always going to be a hard fan the hammer right here, and I would rather than invest something that I expect to miss half my shots on, I'd rather take the individual shots that do more damage per shot and still have shots left to protect myself with.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
I mean, I guess we know that Winston isn't going to jump on you here because he's just got eliminated, but this still, like, this rolling through the safe space, you don't really want to be using your roll there. You want to be using your roll when you get pressured. You want to be using your roll to sustain yourself. You want to be using your roll, hey, I'm pressured, I want to get out. You want to use your roll less to, like, take space like this. It's going to slow you down a little bit to walk that, but only a very little bit, especially on the new patch with the range decrease on it, and it saves you not a huge cooldown, but a 6-second cooldown that can matter when Winston show up on you, when Sombras show up on you, when Divas show up on you to sort of help you get out. Because it's not like you have, this giant health pool, a bunch of self-sustain. The only thing resembling self-sustain you have is that combat roll, and that combat roll can be used to sustain for bullets, but its sort of better use tends to be to get out. It's very much like the Hanzo hop on the 4 or 5 second cooldown, where you tend not to hop in as much as you do go, hey, I'm hopping to surf the Winston jump that hit me. You do sometimes hop in to change the angle, and you do sometimes roll in as McCree to change the angle, but I'd like to use this less in safe places, like would use Tracer Blinks less in safe places, and more when we're out in the open. You hear him? No. Just a little slow.
Heroes never die.
It's high time. It's high time.
I'm not sure what that one was about. Again, not a huge deal. You're doing much less of these than before. I just want you to still be aware that they exist, that, oh, you haven't completely eliminated this from your play.
Into the iris.
Good. You see the hog, you don't. Okay, let's see where you rotate to.
Relax. Death Blossom is ready.
Don't wait here. Keep rotating.
My ultimate is ready.
Okay, so you chose to play from here, and you playing from here is okay, but your range from here, we agree, is not terribly effective. Like, I'll plink things for a little bit. If you'd been a little faster on your rotation, spent a little less time here, spent a little time at max range, shooting things from this side of the door when the door was open, you could have probably been, like, here by now, which is then just, oh, I'm getting to play from here type thing. I'm getting to play from here type thing, where you have a little more influence over the part of the map that we care about.
Move it up. You're going to be okay.
You hear him?
Payload stalled.
Winston's going that way. Do you want to go this way?
I was just afraid to get hooked if I went out one door, so I was just following the first person that went out.
Okay, and that's one option. You can go, hey, he'll go out, and him going out, if anyone gets hooked, it'll be him, and that'll be great. His body is a shield for you. That is perfectly valid. The other option is to go, he's going to pull a bunch of eyeballs to him, so I'll let him go first, and then I'll
Mm.
just late peek it. And then I do it, and
Ah,
I still don't get it. It's like I can literally give him a half-second advantage or a half-second lead, and all of the eyeballs will turn towards paying attention to this. And then I walk out here and I get my first shot advantage while everyone's looking at him. And my first shot advantage of like they don't know where I am, they don't know that I'm here, etc., is a pretty big one. That's one of your best ways to get eliminations because boom, and they've taken most of their health before they even realize where you are, that they're getting shot at, etc. So that can be good. Whereas if you come out this way, they know danger's coming this way. They're looking at you, they're prepared for it, their defenses are set up in this direction. All good.
and is it worse to go down, like come out of the door on the right on the bottom rather than go out on the second floor, like the second level? Is that better to do?
No, the second floor would be even better. The problem is I just don't think you had the time to go take the second floor based on where you were playing.
Yeah, that makes
The
sense.
second floor is even better. Yeah.
Apagando las luces.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm a little surprised that there's not just a flash here, but hey, you're trying to use his body, and now where's our 180? Reaper's body is in the way. Reaper's got a pretty decently big hitbox to protect you, eh? And then your health pack is over here, so if we're running, let's roll. Like, here we are. Rolls our escape. You know, we could roll right here. Not sure why we're not rolling.
Well, wasn't I hacked from the EMP?
Right now you're hacked.
And then I go out the door.
Oh yeah, you're still hacked. My bad. Now you're not.
Yeah,
hacked.
if I could have rolled here, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
And this is, you know, we would like to get to this health pack quite badly, but all good.
Yeah.
And that's only about 3/4 of a second before you get eliminated.
I think I need to memorize all of the different health pack locations. I think that's one of the things I need to do next.
I think that is there for you, unfortunately, because your movement isn't always informed
It ain't
by
my time.
them the way that I would expect.
Group up.
What's your FPS background? What did you play before Overwatch?
I've played like Call of Duty for like, I don't know, like a decade. I was like raised on that game, and then
Got
I
it.
played yeah, pretty much that, and then a bunch of other ones like Apex and all that
Okay.
kind of stuff.
Okay.
Damn it.
So I don't like this. Now, here you are. Okay. If you hit this flash, are you going to eliminate him?
No, I would definitely not.
Right. Like, are you going to do anything to him if you hit this flash?
I guess I was just like, oh man, if he hooks me, if I get the flash out, I can flash him while he's hooking me, and then he won't one-shot combo me. But I don't know if that's really realistic.
Sort of. Like it would sort of be like, hey, his hook is canceled if he hit you with your hook. I don't really like this because this leaves him with a trade where now you don't have flash, and now his friends can come push you, and you didn't really get anything out of this, and you were never going to get
Yeah.
anything meaningful out of this. You're just vulnerable. This would be like a ball coming in and intentionally trading out your flashbang when he had no intention of getting you, and you not having ammo, so you don't get to do a bunch of damage to him for the flash. But okay,
Mm.
which we prefer to avoid.
Templo sterben nicht.
Okay.
Heroes never
Fine by me.
It's high time.
Yep. Do you know where the mini is? Do you? Or are you just gonna scream at Mercy to heal you? Oh, this makes me so sad. Okay. The mini's right here, which is why I was sort of going, I wonder if you're going to slam the I need healing button to get Mercy's attention, or if you're just going to drop here. And if you dropped here, Sombra might have gotten you immediately, or you might have found Sombra first, but no big.
Yeah.
Escorting the page.
This would have
This life's never uneventful.
Oh, I just realized why that Sombra's name isn't showing up because it's a weird.
Yeah,
I was so confused. Now I realize.
yeah. She's intentionally made her name just this little thing up here.
Yeah, that's very tactical.
Yes, yes. The health bar still shows up the same, and the health bar is still the same length, so it doesn't
Yeah.
make all the difference in the world.
The payload is secure. Move it out.
Okay, we're going for the off angle.
Apagando las luces.
You're done. You're done. You're done.
It's
Good.
time.
I don't know why you rolled. You just felt like putting that on cooldown.
Yep. This part will probably bring you pain. Most
So far,
likely.
I'm good. I'm good. You're just waiting, which
Oh,
I'm
just
cool with.
wait. Just
Okay.
just wait.
Why is the payload stopped?
Let them do their thing. You can see your teammates. You can see that. Good. Good. Oh, you're gonna try to ninja it since someone's holding it. Are you gonna get like widowed or something? You can't get widowed. Okay. A little bit, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that'll do it. Okay. So now that we're done watching the show, let's talk through this.
Yep.
Okay. Here you are. You had the option to go this way, and that's fine. If your team was really struggling to get out, you also had the option to play here on a nice long sight line, and I don't know, pretty decent chance you just get a double tap on the Mercy. She has got no idea that you're here. So that could happen. It's also like, hey, the Diva can come use boosters to come get you, or the McCree can shoot at you. You have a health pack over here to sustain with. You can roll away if the Diva tries to chase you and be like, hey, I did damage and now I'm dragging the Diva. Then she has to chase you the whole time as you're walking through here. Or you can come out here, and I don't necessarily mind you coming out here. This is as good a time as any. That hog isn't really our favorite first target, so we'd like to open the angle a little larger to get something else. And if we open the angle a little larger, we'll again see that Mercy that we could potentially go for. We might see this McCree that we can go for. And we this time still have our roll that we can open this angle pretty large to go for this McCree or this Mercy and still roll back if we have to. So that's what we'd like to do. And now we've lost him, and now that we've lost him, I'm not sure we want this engage again. Like, it's unfortunate, it's been a pretty big time commitment, but I don't want to pull this engage because it's not real. Unless we actually get 2 eliminations from this, it's not going to be worth it to force this fight when we're down our ball. And now you're just staying too open. Like, if it's not worth it to force this fight without our ball, you can't still be here. And then we're not going to talk about that.
Get here.
Yep. So I don't necessarily have to like respect the hog whenever he's kind of like, I can peek that corner, get like 1 or 2 shots in, maybe on the Mercy or something like that, and then as
He's
soon
not
as
looking
hog
at
pays
you.
attention,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then just dodge roll back.
Right. Respect what people are actually paying attention to. Like, he has his hook, and you would like to be able to break his hook, but unless he's baiting you and he's actually fully paying attention to you, but, like, not looking type thing, yeah, you absolutely can get away with that.
Gotcha.
Get them off me.
Healing it up. Ned.
Fire in the hole.
That was, hopeful.
Healing.
Sombra, I think you're over there.
Hole.
Okay.
you gotta play the lottery to win it, Temporal.
I suppose that's true. I suppose that's true.
I get the idea.
Have we mentioned investing in proper ability use pays better returns? Expected
Yeah. Oh, that's a future topic. That's a
Okay.
future topic.
So here we are. You go for this, and now we're in a bit of a situation because we just took a ton of damage right here. So you need to get your cover. You decide not to go for your cover. Your cover was just behind this payload, right?
Yep.
So shifting up is like, well, now you don't have any abilities. And this didn't get you up here where you can play from. This got you in the sky, which, isn't really safety. Like, it's safety if there's, like, a Reinhardt on the ground for a moment, but it's not really safety. So now McCree's going to get you.
Enemy contact.
Okay.
I get the idea.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Fine.
Damage increase.
He dropped. Good. Right idea. Not sure why we shifted. Why? Okay. I feel like you've got enough shots to deal with that Sombra, don't you?
I it might have been just a reaction to an elimination. But if
No,
I'm
no,
playing
no, you
devil's
didn't.
advocate,
No, 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 no. So, like,
oh,
hold on.
oh,
Watch this. You go here. I'm totally good with this reload.
oh,
But now you have enough. Why are you reloading like up to 12?
Oh.
You see what Ashe's weapon is different than other people's weapon. She reloads bullet at a time and you can interrupt her reload to take shots. So I don't mind if you weave reload chances, etc. with Ashe. But you had to reload here. I just don't want you reloading to 12, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah, and you do ultimately cancel it early,
60 seconds remaining.
but considering you took down Sombra and Tracer in one shot each, it seems like that might have been a
Yeah, that's fair.
Heroes never die.
Okay, who do you need to shoot to break this? Bob is who you need to shoot. Okay. Okay.
Apagando las luces.
So
Score.
we've mostly played McCree and a little bit of Ashe. We played a little bit beyond that on the Widow. We've still got a little bit of reload stuff with McCree. We have the other direction where I just complained about the reload on the Ashe, but that's a one-time thing. But the bigger thing that we're probably seeing is we need to really be thinking about, hey, are we rotating properly with our advantages to take these angles, to take the top of spaceship? Are we thinking about, hey, our tank is going through one way, the eyeballs are drawn away from us, this is when we want to peek from a different angle? Like, the way it works is we go, hey, our Winston is able to go in, our Winston is able to break one choke point, and I want to shoot at the Hanzo that my Winston just leapt on. Or I want to use the fact that my Winston just leapt on someone to open my angle and take heavy shots, spend my whole clip out here firing as opposed to just a couple bullets. Or, hey, my Winston broke one direction through a doorway, so I want to peek the other doorway. What you did at the end there to rotate up to the high ground with Ashe, that was good. That was good, and it's also a new angle that you show up on. But I'd like to see a little bit more in terms of taking different angles and switching angles with both of your hit scan here. Well, all three, really. But let's continue.
Is there a time where I should switch angles? Like if I was up top on Ashe, or like if I was up top on the spaceship like McCree? And I was do I just swap whenever I feel like I'm not doing as much anymore? Like they're around cover that I'm at, or they see me and are trying to deal with me.
Sure. So when it comes to swapping angles, it's either going to be, hey, they have enough threatening poke to poke back at me, and I closed the angle. Like, say I opened an angle on top of, say I was on top of, here, let's go like this. Okay, and let's get ourselves somewhere back on third, just because that's where we just were. Let's say you were here, and you end up in a situation where you're on Ashe, and they're playing a Widow, and they're playing their Widow right here, and you took a couple shots at the team, or maybe you took a shot at Widow, and then you went, this is too hot, I don't like it. I'm out, right? And you close the angle because you're not just gonna stay out here in a firefight with a Widow, with a Hanzo, with another Ashe forever. You're gonna be like, I take a couple shots, I try to do my work, maybe I got my eliminations. Oh, you body shot me. Oh, you took a shot at me and you missed, and I closed the angle. Well, now I might be interested in changing the angle, and it might be I might wait here for a second and a half or so, and then rather than opening the angle here, I might drop and open the angle from down here and then go here because when she flicks back, or when that's in her check pattern, oh, I was able to shoot her from a slightly different spot. Like, that's a thing that could happen if you're in a poke war with meaningful poke heroes. But the other thing that you would run into is, yes, you might be down here shooting and you might go, I can't see over there, they're coming out of spawn, so yes, now let me shift up and now I can play from here and I can do it. So some of it is, yes, you're changing your angle because you are because the cover doesn't work for you anymore. Some of it is you're changing your angle to get a jump on them when you feel like it's time for me to change the angle to get another jump on them. And even when it's not someone that threatening, even when it's something like a Zen, you might feel the need to go, hey, I'm changing my angle to get the jump on you, because remember that sort of first shot advantage we talked about, where the first time you peek an angle, you get sort of more power to it. That's
Yeah.
something that you're looking to abuse, especially on Ashe, because Ashe has a very easy time, swapping some of these angles compared to your McCree. McCree, of course, is going to have a harder time with some of this angle swapping. And with McCree, he does most of his angle taking in some of these matchups when his front line aggresses. So, like, it might be, oh, my Reinhardt's walking in. I was shooting from here. Now while my Reinhardt is up there swinging, I'm going to walk up through here, and now I'm going to play from here type thing.
Gotcha.
Like, you're sort of investing. Speaking of our lottery thing versus investing, you're investing that your Rhine has created a minor advantage with his, like, hey, my Rhine is pushing, my Rhine is doing this into a 6, and I'm going to drop us to a 5v6 and actually put us maybe behind for a little bit to go get this place over here. And now I have this angle. I'm drawing and you can't see it. Now I have this angle on the right, like I just went through the doorway back there on third. And so as long as we didn't actually lose someone in that 5v6, now we're back in a 6v6, but we're in a 6v6 where we're more likely to win. Like, we invested that time, we invested his aggression, we left him like, oh, I hope you'll be okay, Ryan, to go make that a little bit deeper. And it would have been the same thing on second when you had the Winston, where you're going, hey, my Winston is going through here, I'm going to let him hang for half a second, and then peek here, and now they're looking at him. And as long as he held on and he didn't get eliminated, I now have a much higher chance of getting my elimination on him, or getting an elimination. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then while I'm investing that time and going down to like a 5v6, should I is that something I should be communicating to the team?
No.
Like saying, hey guys, no?
No, because it's too short. You shouldn't be taking like 6-second rotations. These should be
Justice
like,
ain't gonna dispense
your
itself.
2 seconds, a second and a half type
Gotcha.
things.
5, 4,
My business,
2,
my rules.
1. Attackers incoming. Escort the payload.
Get in the saddle and let's ride. I got the payload, I'm moving out.
Sure.
Here it comes.
Oh,
It's a little bounce.
okay. I don't need you shooting at that barrier the whole time. Like, it looks like you sort of tunneled here. There's a Mercy over there. There's a McCree over there. Like, the barrier is sort of the I've got nothing better to do thing. Good. This would be an example of changing angles.
30 seconds remaining.
Someone get that payload moving.
Good. Changing angles.
The payload.
We would like to find someone that's not hog. You're done. Close the angle. Close the angle.
Do I get the mega? Nope.
I'm actually not worried. You are feeling short on time. You need to make an elimination happen.
Oh yeah, that's fair. During that time, just slightly before this, before the payload moved, I think during the fight, our Ana was like, guys, we're fighting and the payload hasn't even moved once or something like that. And like it's been like 30 seconds and the payload hasn't even moved.
Who cares?
And I was like, that's I was like, that's your job. And then, but I don't know if I was justified in saying that because she was reasonably disgruntled when I said that. Um,
Sure.
but
So
is it a reasonable like what in a low time situation? I would imagine tank is good. Like at least one tank having on payload is good so that she can't get hooked and then
sure.
OT just goes away.
So
But
Zarya on payload could have been fine here. Zarya on payload could have been perfectly fine. But the reality is, you guys are trying to win this hard enough. You guys have to either decide that you're just going to push the payload through, at which point them holding this doesn't do anything, or you're going to make them lose this team fight, and even a couple eliminations will generally cause people to give up this hold because this isn't a great hold and retreat to the better hold over here. Um, but yeah, you can totally go, I don't care if the payload doesn't move at all until you get an elimination or two to unlock this
mm,
to get these guys to back off. So I don't even care. I don't care if she moves it. I don't care if Zarya moves it. I don't care if no one moves it, to be perfectly honest.
gotcha.
It can sit right here. Like, yes, if we're optimizing, yes, we should have, hey, our Zarya will tag it on her way by. We'll go do some work, make sure she has the stuff. The Zarya, the Anna will scoot it up a little bit more to here. Then the Zarya will probably take it back over. But, like, it's really not that big a deal, to be perfectly honest.
Gotcha.
10 seconds remaining.
So here you are. You have to decide what you're going to do. Shooting at that is probably not our favorite. You don't have the greatest angle on the hog, nor do you know that the hog is that weak, but he was there for you. Okay, I'm done. I don't really want to break this barrier that badly, to be perfectly honest. So I'm happy to transition my angle again, because I'm just not getting anything done from here. So I'm going to go left, and I'm going to go left sooner than this. Okay? No, 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 no. I was perfectly happy to go pop up back here and try to double tap the Anna or the McCree and then be able to get out of here. Like, that's what I want to do. No, I do not want to fight you. I don't want to fight this poke team head on. Like, this is a team that has an Orisa, a Hog, a McCree, and a Mercy. These guys have a ton of poke, right? Whereas you guys have,
Yeah.
like, a Zarya, a Reaper, a Winston. You guys have a Mercy and an Ashe. That's kind of the extent of your poke, right? So, like, I don't want to just try to poke barriers. I don't expect to break their barrier and then do work. You sort of see what I'm saying? Like, I'll shoot at it if there's nothing
Yeah.
there, but I need to create small windows to take advantage of. I need to be like, I'm here. Can I find the Anna? Okay, I'll take my shot because I already invested in the time here. Even if I can't find the Anna, I'll take maybe 2 shots. Even has to be at a hog, whatever. Now I transition to here. Do I have anything? Do I have a McCree? Okay, boom. I double tap the McCree, don't quite get him because he gets away and he gets behind cover before the second tap. He's not giving me another shot. Fine. Let me tuck, reload for 1 second, re-peek. Okay, is there something there? No? Okay, fine. Let me go back up here. Okay. Let me drop here, go do this. Fine. Now I'm going to slide up here and go do this. And this is sort of what I'm talking about. If you don't have time to you're going to go around barriers. Your Winston is going to go through barriers, and you're going to find an angle that gets you around the barrier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Is
if
there so the left side would be good to get around that barrier.
left side would be great for getting around the barrier, it's just higher risk to you. But right now, you've got a
Yeah.
Mercy with you, and your Winston has been showing eagerness to go in here. If you go, hey, I get to here, and then your Winston goes in, great. You're definitely going to have a shot. They're going to be dealing with the Winston for 2 seconds. You might not have a ton of time, but slide up here and make those 2 to 3 shots you're going to take count before you leave. That's how you're looking to do this.
That makes sense.
Oh my
Like, I know I've harped on reloads on McCree in your previous session, but I don't want you to think that uptime is everything. Like, as we can see, it's not, because, like, I want to make your uptime better when it makes sense, but, like, being able to go, I take shots from here, I take shots from here, I take shots from here again, I take shots from here, I take shots from here, I drop shots from here, and then I go, and these are the shots that matter. Any of these could have been the shots that mattered, but, like, you're sort of going, let me find a way around it. And you might not be doubling back a bunch. Like, you probably wouldn't go back and forth between these a bit, but you might go, hey, I'm working from here for a while, now I'm working from here, now I drop and do this type thing. But, hey.
Thanks.
Damage boost engaged.
Okay. Okay, so This hurts my soul.
Overtime.
Great. Beautiful. What does this team have to do?
They have to handle if they want to keep their position, they want to handle the Winston, and if they don't want to, like, if they can just
Hold on.
back up
Is
and
keeping that position a thing?
not really because there's a payload moving under him.
Right. So keeping that position isn't a thing. So regardless of the Winston helps you, but regardless of the Winston, these guys have to back up. They have to retreat. They're either going to go here or somewhere into this portion of the map, which means this isn't remotely risky for you anymore, and it's a nice long sight line. And you're Ashe. You love nice long sight lines. So whether Mercy sticks with you or not, this is where I want to be. I want to be right here pelting these guys in the back who don't have time to turn and deal with me. That's exactly what I want to be doing.
Does the scoped or the unscoped shot for Ashe, do they do different amounts of damage? I know one's hit scan and one's not, right?
So they're both hit scan, but what you run into is they're both hit scan, but what'll happen with the unscoped shot is the unscoped shot will lose accuracy as you continue to press it. So if you just like hold down the left click button, by the time you get to shot 7, 8, your shots will be going like you might as well be shooting a shotgun at that point. So that's the difference there. So when you get into your Ashe tech, you take a couple shots, 3, 4 shots. Even if you're doing it at close range, you'll take 3 or 4 shots, and then you'll go into a scoped shot, and then you'll unscoped to go back to your regular shots to sort of reset it. That's what you end up doing with her. And then you are using the scope most of the time because you want to get the headshots with her because, hey, that's how you make her actually do enough damage to work all that jazz. And then here, again, I wanted you to go up over here, but even if you don't go up here, please at least, coach gun yourself up here so that you've now got this. Like, I do not in any way want you playing from here with your team, but this is exactly what I'm talking about in general of, hey, take different angles, but especially on Ashe, you want these longer sight lines. Boom. Like, imagine how much more unhappy these people would be if instead of you being here right now with your Mercy, you were over here. You were over here. Like, even just put yourself right here. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to come get you. They're going to come run you over 3v1. Okay. How many people are you going to eliminate before they come? Like, even if you just eliminate one, that's okay. But you've got a pretty good chance of getting multiple eliminations by the time they walk over here to come deal with you, right?
Yeah, at least the Mercy, probably.
Right. So that's how we'd look to do this. Because right now, you're threatening from the same angle as everyone else on your team, and it just makes me sad. And that was okay, but like you're up there and you can't really maintain being up there. So this would be the perfect example of here we are. I don't know if you're noticing some of those hit markers are starting to drift from your thing. So this is the thing where you'd have mixed in just a single scope shot there. I'm surprised that you're staying on the hog rather than clearing the McCree. So here you are. Great. I see the hog, but that hog has too much health. And the hog's job is to anchor that point right now, right? Like, that's what he's trying to do, but he's got the health pool to do it. If you look, the McCree's in the most dangerous position, but it's obviously going to be hard for you to hit right now. But Deanna's free and low health. But Deanna's free. So, like, we definitely want Deanna, not the hog. Okay, now that's gone, but we know that McCree's there, and we'd sure like to deal with that McCree, because that would reduce the incoming damage by so much if we dealt with that McCree. And while we might not be able to hit shots easily on the McCree, we can hit our TNT pretty easy on the McCree, and that's going to cause him to back off at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was just panicking because during OT, a hog on cart is kind of scary for the people on cart.
Oh, sure.
I was just like, I was like calling it out. I was like, guys, get the hog on cart, get the hog, like, cause but yeah, I could definitely kill that McCree, like, while that is happening.
Yep.
Cause it's not like the hog has the ability to kill like 3 people on cart really quickly.
When it comes to overtime contests trying to clean stuff up. Like, hey, we're just trying to clean stuff up after a few eliminations have happened. Not like the very beginning when it's still 6v6, but when you're trying to sort of clean up overtime stuff, you actually put Hog pretty low on your priority list because it's so hard to actually get him removed from the fight. He's dangerous, but it's so hard to actually remove him from the fight with his massive health pool, with his take a breather. Like, you tend to go, I would much prefer to remove an Anna, a McCree. I'd even prefer to put pressure on a Bastion, a Doomfist. Like, these are all things that you'd like to get on and sort of remove before you get anywhere near dealing with the Hog, because the Hog just takes too long to remove for what he does. Like, he does a lot, but the others put very real pressure, and you're never going to remove that Hog until the Anna's dealt with, until the Moira's fate is forced, until the Zen is dealt with, all of those things. Okay. Sorry, I think you got that. I think I probably went on too much, but hey.
Yeah, you're good. I think it's like the priority is like the bottom. Don't want to shoot at shields, but if that's the only thing, Roadhog, if that's the only thing, other tanks, all that kind of stuff, and then
Yep.
squish. Yeah, for sure.
And that's especially true for you because you're playing these heroes right now that are not about their sustained damage. They're about their burst damage more. So, like, you peek and you peek on an angle that they don't know you're at, and it's what can you do with your first 2 to 3 shots that is going to, can you get an elimination off of those most of the time? Because the Hog, you can put pressure on him, and that's good, don't get me wrong, but when they don't know you're there, you'd really rather be, oh, I forced this elimination. Ooh, through the hydraulic door. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So you don't need 6 people on cart. I know you want it, but you don't need it.
Enemy seen.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have to trust my team, and they don't like C9 or something like that.
Right, but this is the same sort of thing where a McCree on point is like, hey, if they don't eliminate you, it's going to be hard for them to clear your teammates on point if you're covering point, right? If they do eliminate you, it's much easier to eliminate your teammates because you can put a lot of pressure out to cover point as McCree. Just like Anna can put a lot of pressure out to keep her tank alive on point. So you don't want a situation where, you know, they can go, oh, we can go to point and stop the point and get the Anna, and stop the point and get the McCree elimination. You don't want them to have the option to do both of those at once unless you've made that very difficult with the screen. Like, your Anna can be the one pressing point, you can be the one pressing point, if you've set up a forward screen that they'd have to get past first, so like they can't really go do that fight.
You let the land exist.
Helden sterben nicht. Propaganda las
Damn it.
Imagine how much more powerful. This is happening. Cool. Imagine if you're just over here. It's minor, but it's a little bit of an off angle, and it completely changes the dynamic. If you're shooting from here, as opposed to shooting from here, where it's like, hey, this Zarya either has to pay attention to me or has to pay attention to my team. I have cover available to me. This EMP, is this EMP still going to get me? Well, maybe, but even these small off angles matter
sterben nicht.
quite a bit. This is not as good. Not as good as being to the right.
Damn it.
And yeah, the EMP wouldn't have caught you.
Cease your resistance.
Oh boy. Nice knowing you.
Round 3 complete. Initiating match.
My
Ready for
business,
battle.
my rules. 起来吧。
Winston,
Okay, I expect you to AFK and report your man.
try playing
Yep.
I'd like to leave a heavy
I just stared at her angrily instead.
There you go.
I didn't want her to get banned during the game.
Over data on this mission. right beside you.
I get the idea.
5,
Okay, but no. Like, like I'm I'm not good with this. You know, there's 3 different entrances that they can come out, and you have like nothing resembling cover. Maybe if you'd wanted this one, maybe if you'd wanted this one, maybe if you were playing back here, but there's just no cover for you here. I don't really want this. But hey,
I was just gonna
TNT.
shoot like 2 times and then coach gun back to the top. Like I think I do it whenever the Winston jumps me.
stop the
Okay,
bleeding.
but like pick one. So you're crosshairing the bottom one, and what if a widow peeks the top one?
Then we're screwed, temporal.
Okay, okay.
Do what I say.
Oh, you're trying. Do you have a support back here? You do. Are you gonna press the I need healing button? She's got you regardless. Cool.
I called it out in voice comms. Yeah. I think maybe yeah.
Cool.
I need healing.
Good job. I'm happy.
Smoke 'em out of there.
Really? She got. I thought you body blocked, but the melee can count double. That's unfortunate. Yeah.
Smoke 'em out of there.
That was
I need healing.
unlikely. So the problem with this is like it would be really cool to hit her with this. The problem with this is she's for sure going to teleport out. Like there's no way that she doesn't teleport out by the time that you can get a TNT off and shoot it. And do you really want to shoot it immediately because it will hurt
No.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nine. My ultimate is charging.
That was not in the plan.
Okay. Sure. Right idea. Oh, good. Beautiful.
Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei.
You see? Okay.
Sterben nicht.
The payload has
I'm with
reached
you.
the chip.
Mega. Yeah, it's not the close range tool you think it is.
Much better.
Like it's a little bit of one, but okay.
Excuse me.
I've sighted the enemy.
Okay, so that's an example of, we can slow this down just to make it obvious, but you have 12 shots.
I've sighted the enemy.
You saw that one drifted a little. You see that's drifting a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
I think
just
the TNT is a scare tactic.
okay.
That's my
Okay. Sadly, it's like Wile E. Coyote. You might scare off
Oh,
Roadrunner with
that's-
the TNT, but it doesn't go well for you.
that's fair.
Apagando las luces.
Could I have coach gunned that Sombra as she was in?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like that would
Okay.
have been the play where you sort of go, hey, you can get her. Like she's not immune in any way. She doesn't have iframes when she's doing this. Now she's, I think, too far away. She might be too far away for you, but she doesn't have iframes. So conceptually, coach getting her to knock her back, legit. I think she's just a little too far away from you right now, but she doesn't have iframes. That's why you can hook her. That's why you can flash her. That's why you can headshot her to do any of this stuff to make her unhappy.
What do you mean by iframes?
Invulnerability frames. Certain heroes will
Oh.
have frames where they can't be hurt. Like Reaper during a Shadow Step has a couple iframes, and you'll see players use that when they have nowhere to go to teleport to block a Diva Bomb, for example, where they just go, oh, I'm intentionally timing it for the bomb to go off while they're invulnerable, even though you're not
Interesting.
really supposed to be invulnerable during Shadow Step. But there's some iframes.
60 seconds.
No,
Do something.
I don't know about this one. Okay.
Unstoppable. There's no
Okay.
stopping me once I get into a rhythm.
Okay, let's get some map control.
Appear to have lost
Should I have bobbed earlier?
Start a blizzard.
So if we go back
No
into this
stopping me.
fight,
Alright.
here's our fight. I don't love that you're here. Like, to be perfectly honest, I don't love that you're here. You should already be thinking about, why am I not shifting myself up to here and then going, hey, can I get myself over to here to do work? Because, like, I have easy vertical mobility as Ashe, and no one's really going to punish me for using my vertical mobility. Yes, their Winston can go vertical. Yes, their Sombra can go vertical. But we have enough distance between me and them right now that I can go up and I can easily drop and rejoin my team. And then I can work my way through and go, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to get control of this and I'm going to do work from here. Or as they push my team here, as they're pushing my team here, I'm going to be dropping right here and shooting them from here and shooting them from here, etc. Like, this is the sort of thing where we can take our nice long wide angles with Ashe and imagine how incredibly powerful this is going to be. Right now, as this team is pushing and you just go, yep, and I'm going to drop my TNT and now I'm going to throw a couple headshots at you guys. Like, yes, they have their lamp there, but you see how huge of a defang to their push this would be?
Yeah, and then we could headshot the high nooning McCree too.
Why not? Why not? Well, we're in fantasy land. We might as well, headshot. Our TNT's gonna hit 4. They're gonna fail to dodge into the lamp. We're gonna get hit 3 headshots
They're gonna get
for 3
scared by the
eliminations.
TNT.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be great. Okay.
Okay, cool.
That didn't really answer the Bob question, but if you're then on a different angle, you can go, hey, I'm here. You can go, I put my Bob right here, my team is right here, and I'm right here. And now we have 3 different angles. And that's what we want Bob to do. We want Bob to create another angle that's threatening that they can't easily back out of, and there's nowhere for them to go from here. So yeah, this is the type of place we would have wanted our Bob to end up. We could have had our Bob end up back here. When we actually used our Bob,
60 seconds.
I mean, it's okay. There's some of them over here, but this Bob is sort of like, this is sort of already the team, and the Bob is like, hey, I give you a little bit of a different angle here. You'd actually generally want your Bob to be a little deeper almost, like your Bob over here even, where he's like a little bit deeper, a little bit better of an angle as opposed to this. It's minor, but again, a Bob over here when the fight was happening here would have been even stronger.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I was just trying to get Bob off before I died.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, you're
that
in
makes
the
sense.
heat of things here as Ashe because you're positioning here with your team as Ashe, as opposed to looking for a long sightline off angle for you to abuse.
Definitely.
I will keep you healed.
I appear to have lost control.
I'm ready to start a blizzard.
30
go all the way
seconds
up?
remaining.
No.
This is we had this in the bag.
So it's generally worth going all the way up here and just being like, I can see all 4 doors. I can scoot over here where a door can't see me. I can scoot over here where doors can't see me. But generally, this is where you want to be. You might only be crosshaired over some of them, and then based on what the team calls out, swap. But on top of Spaceship is perfectly happy for you as Asher Widow.
I require assistance. I'm out.
I don't know what this crosshair placement is. Like, if I'm worried about Sombra, she's either going to come from this way or more likely the health pack is what she's staging around. That's better.
Here it comes.
Well,
10 seconds remaining.
Let's take this home.
Have to watch out for the one.
That was probably more reload than you needed. Yeah.
Touch from afar.
I'm on fire. Get here.
I might need this later.
You just AFK, decided you won. Okay. Okay.
So the enemy team during the middle of the match when they won one round really quickly, they were like, "Oh my
GG'd it.
god, you
Got
guys
it.
are so
Got it.
they were so uncoordinated, it showed." And then after that I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so uncoordinated, it shows, Winky face," or whatever.
Got
Just
it.
some yeah,
Okay.
tactical
Tactical
yeah.
DM. After the match is
Yep.
over, but not quite. Okay.
Exactly, but not quite, yeah.
So here's how we're going to look at this. Um, the first thing I'm sort of going to want us to focus in on is, hey, you are going to, well, I'll just knock this one out real quick because it's easy. You're going to want to spend a little more time just looking through the maps to figure out where the health packs are, or to sort of just get a little more familiar. That's easy. You know that. I know that. I'm glad that we both see that. There's some health pack things where you should know where those are. It'll affect where you go in some of these situations. Not worried about that. That'll help you on all Overwatch heroes. Now we get into your more specific hit scan stuff, your more specific McCree slash Ashe stuff. And what we're looking at that for those is going to be more willingness to take the off angle. This is especially important on Ashe because Ashe is looking for the long sightline off angle, like we're talking about, like that's where she shines from. McCree, and she can switch her position more easily. But so this is especially going to apply to her, but it applies to McCree too, as we talked about. Like your Winston goes through here, and you go through here. Your Reinhardt pushes here, and you go by Reinhardt, and you go up, and then you go up the off angle, and you take the off angle here. Like these are things that'll apply to both of them. So like we want you to go be more willing to change your angle to get these off angles. It's a team game, but it's a team game in the sense of timing, in the sense of map control. It's not a team game in the sense of stacking. And McCree will do okay in a stack environment because he has flash, and he can get value out of flash in the stack, and he can protect his team from dives in the stack. But when he's playing against more poke heavy teams, he's going to need the off angles. When teams are further away from him, he's going to want the off angles. As he is pressing an advantage, he's going to want to invest that advantage into getting an off angle as opposed to just trying to clean up the fight there. And Ashe has to. Like, Ashe does not want to play with her core. Ashe is like, you want me to stand on my core? I don't care. Even if we have an Orisa, I don't want to do that. Like, even if you're set up here where it's like, hey, we have an Orisa, and, you know, that's great, and we have an Orisa and a BAP and a Zen all right here, Ashe is going to look at that and go, yeah, that's really cool. I'm going to go find my way over here. I'm going to go find my way over here. Like, that's just how she is, where it's the, hey, she's going to take advantage of different off angles. McCree, if he has time to set up and go get different off angles, he'll do it. But he has, you know, less powerful on the range sight lines in some of these situations, and it's less of a throw for him to be with his team because he does have some protection that he offers them. But in general, I want you to look to play these off angles, look to take these off angles more often. I want you to go learn a little bit better where these, not a little bit better, I want you to actually learn where these health packs are on all of the maps, at least that are in rotation. It's really not that challenging to do. You can load up a custom game and walk around and find them all, and it, you know, you'll just internalize them. It's really not too bad there. Um, we talked a little bit about Bob, a little bit about High Noon. We talked a little bit about reloading. We did a fair bit here. What else do I want to hone in on that's more for you here? We talked about that. I mean, really, it's your taking of the off angles. We could talk a little bit about some of your positioning stuff beyond that, but it's really already tied to the positioning. I think that's where I want to go. Like, I think I've got really 2 points tied together here where it's the, hey, I want you to understand to take these off angles, and, you know, to take these off angles, and I also want you to understand the transitions between some of these off angles where it's like, hey, I have this angle, I can't find anything to get done, so I'm peeking here to get more power. Just like having an off angle in the first place is giving you more power. And if you take off angle power and combine it with first peak from a new off angle power, that's when you're really the most likely to get the elimination, that first elimination that is actually what snowballs and wins the team fight there. So like that's really where I'd hone in on. Again, there's more stuff we could do on your reloading. There's more stuff we could do on, hey, you're low health and you're not going where it makes sense to go for this health pack for things like that. But I think if we find these better positions over here, that's going to do the most for you. So with that in mind, do you have any questions, anything that like doesn't make sense about that, or something else that you'd like to get into?
I don't think so. I think that's it. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad. I'm not sure that was the most concise explanation of it, but I'm glad it made sense to you. Cool.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool. Okay, then that's going to do it. Let me go ahead and end the recording